Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the news from SABA Satellite Channel, live from Marib. Here are tonight's top stories.
Yemen participates in a global FAO conference on smart agriculture.
Planning Minister discusses expanding cooperation with Frederick Ebert Foundation.
Bahrain urges United Nations action over renewed Iranian attacks.
Welcome back. Yemen is participating in the Global Conference on Sustainable Agricultural Mechanization organized by the Food and Agriculture Organization in Rome. The Yemeni delegation is led by Minister of Agriculture, Irrigation and Fisheries Salim al-Suqatri. At the three-day conference, which brings together policymakers, development partners, private sector representatives, and experts from around the world. Discussions are focusing on expanding climate-smart agricultural systems, promoting practical innovations, and strengthening investment and international cooperation to support sustainable farming, particularly for small-scale farmers.
Meanwhile, at the conference, Minister of Agriculture, Irrigation and Fisheries Salim al-Suqatri took part in a high-level roundtable on governance for inclusive and sustainable smart agriculture. Al-Suqatri said effective governance is essential to ensure that additional innovation and new technologies deliver tangible benefits for farmers, particularly small-scale producers, while strengthening food security and sustainable agricultural development. He emphasized the need to modernize agricultural policies, invest in digital infrastructure, early warning systems, and agricultural information networks, and build farmers' capacities alongside expanding partnerships with international organizations, the private sector, and research institutions. The minister also highlighted Yemen's experience in climate-smart agriculture, citing initiatives such as greenhouse farming, modern irrigation technologies, and agricultural information systems, while calling for continued international cooperation to improve access to technology, financing, and expertise.
Back in Yemen, the Ministry of Agriculture, Irrigation and Fisheries and the UN Food and Agriculture Organization held technical talks to review the proposed design of a breakwater project in Zahak Socotra archipelago. The virtual meeting examined engineering observations, marine and geotechnical studies, and construction alternatives to ensure the project's safety, durability, and long-term sustainability. The breakwater is a strategic project for Socotra's fisheries sector, providing greater protection for fishing boats against cyclones, high waves, and the growing impacts of climate change.
In aid, the Ministry of Agriculture also concluded consultations with the stakeholders on a World Bank-funded projects to develop Yemen's dairy sector in partnership with the United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization. Representatives from government institutions, local authorities, the private sector, civil society, and development partners reviewed the project's environmental and social requirements to ensure sustainable implementation. Participants stressed the importance of incorporating technical recommendations into the project's final design to reflect local priorities across the targeted governance. The initiative aims to strengthen Yemen's dairy value chain by improving animal food production, veterinary services, milk productivity, processing, collection, and marketing to support sustainable economic growth.
In Hamburg, Minister of Planning and International Cooperation Afrah Azouba met Carl Sarko, Acting Executive Director of the World Bank of the World Food Programme, on the sidelines of the 2026 Hamburg Sustainability Conference. The two sides reviewed WFP operations in Yemen and discussed ways to improve food assistance for the most vulnerable, particularly children and mothers, while reducing costs through innovative approaches that support local markets, farmers, and fishermen. Azouba emphasized the importance of linking humanitarian assistance with national social protection and school feeding programs, calling for a stronger transition from emergency relief to resilience and sustainable development. She also urged greater international advocacy to mobilize funding for Yemen and ensure that the challenges facing fragile states remain high on the global agenda.
In another meeting, Minister Afrah Al-Zuba met representatives of the Friedrich Ebert Foundation to discuss expanding cooperation in support of Yemen's reform and recovery agenda. The talks focus on a strengthened collaboration in social protection, economic reform, public policy, and peace building, while promoting the transition from humanitarian assistance to sustainable recovery and development. The two sides also explored opportunities to support applied research and evidence-based policy making to improve public policy and enhance coordination among development partners. Al-Zuba expressed the government's appreciation for the Foundation's continued engagement in Yemen and welcomed its decision to continue operating from the interim capital Aden, describing it as a strong commitment to supporting national institutions and a strengthened cooperation with the government.
To Washington, where Ambassador Jabila Ali Raja met the Executive Director of the Arab Group at the World Bank, Abdulaziz Al-Mullah, to discuss the bank's development programs in Yemen. Ambassador Raja expressed the government's appreciation for the bank's continued engagement and highlighted the importance of its coordination with Yemeni authorities, including recent senior-level visits to Aden. For his part, Al-Mullah reaffirmed the World Bank's commitment to supporting development, job creation, and the delivery of essential services across Yemen.
And in Indonesia, Ambassador Salim Balfakih met Indonesian Minister of Higher Education, Professor Prayan Yulirto, to discuss expanded academic cooperation between the two countries. The talks focused on implementing the existing Memorandum of Understanding, resuming scholarship programs, and broadening academic and cultural exchanges. The two sides also explored ways to strengthen partnership between Yemeni and Indonesian universities to support of higher education, scientific research, and technological development. Both officials reaffirmed their commitment to deepening academic and cooperation as part of long-standing relations between Yemen and Indonesia.
In regional developments, Bahrain has called on the UN Security Council to take stronger action after Iran launched renewed ballistic missile and armed drone attacks targeting civilian areas in the kingdom, noting that the attacks constitute a direct violation of the Islamabad Memorandum of Understanding signed on June 17th.
Good morning. The Kingdom of Bahrain has requested this emergency meeting of the Security Council because Iran has once again launched ballistic missiles and armed drones against my country, striking civilian areas, in direct breach of its commitment under the Islamabad Memorandum of Understanding of the 17th of June to permanently cease military operations.
The Bahraini Minister of Foreign Affairs said hundreds of missile and drone attacks have targeted residential neighborhoods and civilian infrastructure, while similar attacks have also affected other GCC member states.
Since 28th of February, Bahrain has endured hundreds of missile and drone attacks on residential neighborhoods and the civilian infrastructure our people depend on. They have cost us the loss of 3 lives, with hundreds injured, among them women and children. Other Gulf Cooperation Council states have faced the same. The pattern is alarming. A strike on the Gulf Petrochemical Industries Company hit an ammonia storage tank in a populated area, forcing a 2-kilometer evacuation and risking a chemical catastrophe. Attacks have struck near Kuwait International Airport. These are not military objectives. They are the foundations of civilian life.
Bahrain called for the implementation of UN Security Council resolutions, while reaffirming its commitment to peace, dialogue, and stability, alongside its right to self-defense.
Our message is simple. These attacks must stop. Council resolutions must be implemented, and international commitments must be honored. The credibility of this council rests not on adopting resolutions, but on seeing them upheld. Bahrain remains committed to peace, dialogue, and stability. We will continue to exercise restraint while fully preserving our inherent right of self-defense under Article 51 of the Charter. Thank you.
That's all for tonight. Thank you for watching and have a good time.